astrological forecast for December 2025 for representatives of the Gemini zodiac sign. December 2025 for you is a time when the sphere of relationships will require special attention, including both personal, friendly, and business relationships. Precisely, the sphere of partnership relations will be key for you throughout December. And this can manifest both as the influence of situations in your partner's affairs on your personal matters and plans, and as a reassessment of meanings, trends, and prospects in your relationships. And this can also manifest as, figuratively speaking, selection when you will decide, with these people, I am still on the same path, and with these people, it is better to gradually distance ourselves from each other. And this can again concern both personal, friendly, and business relationships. In general, December will bring you a lot of clarity in various matters. This is a time of naked truth and obviousness. A person from your past with whom you once had quite close relationships, personal or friendly, may remind you of themselves. At the same time, throughout December, it is precisely your environment, the people surrounding you, who will be a stimulus for you to do the right things for yourselves. When, for example, your close friend or relative tells you for the 100th time, "Let's finally go to sports classes together," or "Let's finally repair your car." It's strange that it starts every other time, or will say, "Let's finally start saving money for an apartment." This stimulus from the people around you can also manifest in a negative way. When, for example, we see that our friend or relative is doing something wrong. After all, it's easier to see from the outside, and we decide for ourselves that we will not act that way ourselves, or that we need to stop something in our actions, since it is visible from the outside that it does not lead to good results. That is, this stimulus can be both in a positive and negative manifestation. The new moon of December occurs in the sector of your partnership relations. This shows that there will be new joint plans or important news related to key partners for you. This can manifest both as an influx of new clients or joint planning of a future trip. The second half of December will bring you improvement in financial matters. This could be both an improvement in the present day, such as a bonus, a premium, and in general, it will be a feeling of optimism regarding your future income level. What else is important to note concerning partnership relations? Probably, in your circle of communication, there is a person who is very dissatisfied with how their affairs are going at present, who is generally dissatisfied with many things and often complains about everyone and everything. And you should not waste your time and energy to explain to this person that everything is actually much more optimistic than it seems to them. It's just that right now their thoughts are truly immersed, so to speak, at the bottom of a well. And until they themselves live through this period to the end, their attitude towards life will not change, and you will only waste your energy. The end of this month concludes with a very bright and optimistic astrological event, which greatly enhances the power of our words and good wishes. Let's discuss in more detail the most important astrological events of December and their influence on your sign step by step. On December 4th, a full moon occurs in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. This is an important moment when a full moon occurs in our own sign. It gives us culmination, clarity, and results in the most important question for us at this period of time. For everyone, this can manifest in something of their own. For some, as clarity of prospects in work, for others as clarity in matters of personal life, and for others as the completion of some process that was not very pleasant. But the results of this process will certainly please. The full moon in our own sign places us at the center of attention. Eyes are on us, people are interested in us, want to talk with us or seek advice. Therefore, this is a very good day to be in the spotlight, to make presentations, speeches, to show your initiative, to make some proposals. This day can also bring the completion of a course of treatment. That is, some question important to you at this minute will be completed at this time. On December 5th, a very interesting astrological aspect awaits us. On this day, the sun will be exactly between the karmic lunar nodes. And in essence, this is the midpoint between events that took place around September 10, 2025, and events that will take place around February 27, 2026. And considering that this aspect will affect your 4th, 7th, and 10th astro fields, the main themes of this day may be questions related to your work, career, your child. This could also be a theme related to your place of residence or issues concerning rent, rental conditions, or the conditions of your cooperation with anyone. On December 6th and 7th, an aspect of luck between the planet Mercury, as well as Jupiter and Saturn, takes place in the starry sky. These are quite lucky days when circumstances can develop in the best possible way for you. These are days that give chances to achieve the best possible results, especially in matters related to work, related to your income level or major purchases. Here, the chances of progress in affairs are very high, especially those that were started right at the beginning of October 2025. On December 9th, the planet Mars will be in a tense aspect in a square in relation to the planet Saturn, and this will affect your 7th and 10th astro fields. This is a tense aspect in itself, and it may manifest especially brightly in the affairs of those of you born between the 13th and 20th of May of any year. There may be unexpected inspections, unexpected claims. You may have a feeling that people are testing your willpower and the strength of your personal boundaries. On this day, it is important not to provoke any conflicts, clarifications of relationships, but at the same time, not to show what is called flabbiness of will. Because if you compromise on some of your principles, your boundaries, there may be consequences. On December 11th, the planet Venus, which symbolizes all earthly joys and blessings, symbolizes the level of our satisfaction with life. Venus will be between the karmic lunar nodes, will be in tense aspects in relation to the karmic nodes. This day is such an unusual, testing one. Testing how harmonious your relationships are, both with close people and with your colleagues. A very good sign on this day will be if you receive positive feedback from the people around you in the form of encouragement, a gift, a sign of attention, or kind words. And also on this day, there may be important events that are connected with a woman from your circle of communication or your relative. And in general, how comfortable and cozy you feel throughout this day will be a kind of litmus test that will show how correct your decisions are, whether you pay enough attention to yourselves and the level of comfort in your life. On December 12th, the planet Mercury moves into the space of the sign Sagittarius, into your 7th house of the horoscope. Mercury symbolizes thoughts, words, communication, short trips. And for you, a time begins when there will be a lot of communication, calls, negotiations, meetings. You may develop some joint plans with your colleagues, friends, or life partner. All these questions could have been discussed sometime before, especially in October or early November 2025. And now the time has come to talk about it again, and more concretely. This is a time when you can carry out some legal actions. For example, formally concluding a deal with a notary, an agreement, or processing a power of attorney, or receiving some documents. And also, this period will give you an influx of new clients or new ideas that in the future will attract more attention to you. On December 14th, the planet Mars will be in a tense aspect in a square in relation to the planet Neptune. This can give a feeling of chaos in affairs and unrealistic expectations from other people. Precisely these expectations of other people, expectations towards you or towards some processes, all this can form a kind of chaos. Here, the theme of unfulfilled promises, unrealized ideas, illogical demands or claims may also arise. This is not the best day to clarify any questions, to clarify something in your relationships, since everything here can be much more confused, seem more tangled than in other periods. On December 15th, the planet Mars, the source of strength, energy, and actions, moves into the space of the sign Capricorn, into your 8th house of the horoscope. This is a good transit of Mars for your sign, as it will generate in you a feeling of healthy excitement. It will enhance your pressure, your determination, your desire and striving to cope precisely with such a task in which it is clear from the start that it will not be easy here. On a practical level, this period of Mars transit through the sign Capricorn can bring you the resolution of issues that are related to money, common and joint, with the question of resource distribution at your work or in your home family budget. In the period from December 17th to 21st, the sun will be in tense aspects in relation to the planets Saturn and Neptune. And for all zodiac signs, this is a time of clarity, a time of honesty. Honesty both towards oneself and honesty in relationships. This is a period that gives us the opportunity to face the truth or the necessity to see everything without embellishment. This is a time of summing up, honest, and even, one might say, harsh ones. On December 20th, the black moon Lilith. The projection of the demon tempter in our horoscope changes signs, and until September 14, 2026, Lilith will be located in the sector of your partnership relations. Lilith shows us the point of attraction of our attention, the sphere of temptations, seductions, illusions, and mirages. This is the sector of passions and mistakes. In detail about the influence of this transit of the black moon on each of the zodiac signs, I will make a separate video about that. And on the same day, December 20th, a new moon occurs in the sign Sagittarius in your 7th house of the horoscope, again, the sector of partnership relations. The new moon is an influx of new energy. It is new scenarios, new opportunities. And here there will be some new joint plans. This can concern personal life, friendly communication, or business cooperation. This is a period when you will be invited somewhere more often. People will approach you. This is a time of new offers and invitations. Here there may be new agreements with other people or a new way of conducting your work, your mutual settlements with clients or your employer. On December 21st at 15:03 Greenwich Mean Time, the sun moves into the space of the sign Capricorn. This is an important day, an important control point. It is one of the 4 cardinal points of the year. This is the day of the winter solstice, the day of the birth of the new sun, the sun that will shine for each of us until the next winter solstice day, that is, until December 2026. Therefore, this is a day when it is important to think about your goals for the year ahead. It is favorable to write down your goals and intentions on paper, since it is on this day that we are essentially sowing the seeds that will give their sprouts or their impulse around the 20s of March 2026. December 21st is the day when, from an astronomical point of view, winter begins in the northern hemisphere. On December 24th, the planet Venus, which symbolizes all earthly joys and blessings. Venus changes signs and moves into the space of the sign Capricorn, your 8th house of the horoscope. This will improve the situation for you related to your resources. This symbolizes growth in the income level, both your personal and your partner's income. That is, both personal income and joint income with someone. This is a time when a person from your past will remind you of themselves. A person with whom you once had quite close relationships. This could have concerned personal life or friendly or business life. Also, in the period from December 20th to 24th, here you may have such expenses, financial expenses on some things or payment of some debts. That is, there may be expenses that are necessary but undesired. That is, you may feel sorry for the resources that will have to be spent in the period from December 20th to 24th. However, the period from December 24th until the end of the year is a time that will bring you additional income in the form of a bonus, a premium, even in the form of a feeling of optimism regarding the future income level. On December 30th, the planet Mercury will be in a tense aspect in relation to the planet Saturn, which will affect your 7th and 10th astro fields. This is a day that will require from you another effort to close the topic that is your obligation. And this may be related to your work, your area of responsibility, or your relationships with older relatives. On December 31st, a wonderful aspect between Mars and the karmic lunar nodes takes place in the starry sky. This is an aspect that will greatly enhance the influence of our kind words, wishes, and intentions. Therefore, on this day, one should not be stingy with kind words and wishes, both for yourselves and for the people close to you. This, from the point of view of astrology, is what December 2025 will be like. I wish you a wonderful, successful month, dear Geminis.